Most women think their problem is they don't know what walking shoe to buy. Some think the answer is finding the softest shoe, but others think the answer is finding the best brand. I actually don't think either of those is the real problem. I think the real problem is that no one ever taught you how to narrow your shoe choices. Because once you understand what your feet need, choosing a walking shoe becomes so much easier. Today, I'm going to show you a simple way to narrow the choices and find the shoes that are most likely to work for your feet. I'm Mary Sue of the Trusty Shoe Guides, and I've spent 40 years in the shoe industry helping women find shoes that keep them walking strong. Okay, let's get started. The very first question is whether you should be looking at a neutral shoe or a stability walking shoe. A neutral shoe is like a bra without an underwire. Now, it can be very comfortable, but it doesn't have that extra structure designed to guide movement. A stability shoe is more like a bra with an underwire. It has a little more structure built in to help guide and control movement when you need the extra support. Now, neither one is better. The question is which one matches your body needs. So here's a simple question that I'd ask. When you walk, do you generally feel steady and confident? Or do you sometimes feel a little wobbly, especially on uneven ground or near the end of a longer walk? If you feel steady and confident when you walk, then you can start with a neutral shoe. If you feel a little wobbly, unsteady, or maybe just want more support and control, then start with a stability shoe. Now, one thing I've noticed after 40 years in the shoe business is that many women over 60 are actually looking for a little more confidence and stability when they walk. If that sounds like you, I would lean toward stability shoe. They may be worth considering even if you've always worn neutral shoes in the past. Okay, so pick one. And just like that, you've eliminated about half the shoes in the store. But we're not done yet. The next thing I want to know is how much cushioning you need. Now, some women prefer a highly cushioned shoe because it helps reduce impact and makes walking feel more comfortable. Others prefer a moderate amount of cushioning because it helps them feel more grounded and connected to the ground. And again, neither is better. So, which one sounds like you? After a walk, do the bottoms of your feet feel sore or tender, or do they generally feel fine? Now, I know many of my viewers are over 60, and balance is often a concern, and this is where you need to pay attention because more cushioning isn't always better. If your feet need more impact protection, maximum cushioning may actually help. But if you prefer feeling steady and connected to the ground, moderate cushioning may be the better choice. The key is matching the cushioning level to your needs. So now we've narrowed down the choices even further. Next, let's look at toe box shape and height. How do your toes feel at the end of a walk? Do you feel comfortable, or do they feel cramped, crowded, and squeezed? The front of the shoe should match the shape of your foot and provide enough room for your toes. If you have bunions, hammer toes, swelling, or another foot condition that makes your toes feel crowded or pressured, you may simply need extra width, a taller or better shaped toe box. You may have seen a lot of videos on YouTube about anatomically shaped toe boxes and extra wide shoes, and for some women, they are a wonderful solution, but don't overthink this. Most walking shoes generally have a generous toe box. And the goal isn't to find the widest shoe available. The goal is to find a shoe that simply gives your toes enough room to wiggle a bit. And here's an important clue. If the top of your toes are rubbing against the shoe, your feet may be asking for more height and depth in the toe box. Many women are always focused on width, when what perhaps they really need is more depth in the toe box. So once you know what shape and volume your feet needs, you can eliminate even more of the choices. Now we're down to just a handful of good options. Now from here, it's mostly going to be about fine-tuning the fit, choosing a shoe that feels best for you, and this is where width, whether you're narrow or wide, size, and your favorite brand and style, and even the color start to matter. And now that we've narrowed the choices, here are a few examples of where I might start. And I'll link to all of these in the description below if you want to take a look. If your answers suggested that you need more stability and control, I would start by looking at stability shoes. If you prefer moderate cushioning, I absolutely love the Brooks Adrenaline GTS. It's an excellent place to start. If you want more cushioning while still maintaining stability, I'd look at the Hoka Arahi or the Asics Gel Kayano. And if you're generally steady and don't need extra stability, I'd start with a neutral shoe. For moderate cushioning, take a look at the Brooks Ghost. It's a good one. And for maximum cushioning, I'd look at the Asics Gel Nimbus or the Hoka Clifton. And if your biggest challenge is finding enough room in the toe box, I'd focus on brands that offer wide widths or more accommodating toe boxes, such as Orthofeet shoes, Ultra or New Balance wide width models. Now, these aren't the only good choices, but they're simply examples of how understanding what your feet need can dramatically narrow the options. So let's review what we did today. We didn't start with a brand. We didn't start with the softest shoe. We started with your feet and we figured out what they need. And once you do that, the hundreds of choices suddenly become much easier. You see, most women think their problem is that they don't know what walking shoe to buy. And I don't think that's the real problem. I think the real problem is that no one ever taught you how to narrow your choices. And once you know what your feet need, choosing a walking shoe becomes so much easier. Now, if you'd like more on shoes and healthy aging, I have a newsletter and I would love to invite you to join. You'll find the link in the description below and I would absolutely love to see you there. Thanks for watching, and if you got value from this video, I would love it if you could subscribe or like or even drop me a comment and let me know what you think. Stay well, friends, and I'll see you next week.